that prayer has some awful implications for people we love. We want to pray salvation, but then many of us realize if salvation comes, the people I love who don't love him are doomed. My salvation is their damnation. So how does God deal with that issue? Well, ultimately, at the very end, we know, we've read it. God will destroy the wicked that are standing before him at the end in their wickedness. That's not the Lord's desire. That's not our desire. You and I should not be like, yeah, Lord, get him. We shouldn't be all nerdy behind God as we're going down on our horses, me on my donkey. But, all of us coming down to deal with the wicked on earth. We're not all celebrating because there's going to be blood to the size of, this in terms of the horse. That's not God's desire. That's not our desires. God desires that none should perish, but that all should come to repentance. That's our heart. That's why David speaks of the Lord testing the hearts and the minds of men. The word testing refers to scrutiny. The Lord examines hearts and minds, literally the word kidneys, to see if there's ground for life. Will they be receptive? Will they turn themselves to him? Only God knows these things. But if they will, God will have defeated their wickedness as he defeated ours by imputing his righteousness. That's the best way. That's the best way for God to deal with wickedness. God will have eliminated our wicked enemies by making them our righteous siblings. That's the preferred method. That's the kind of outcome that God desires, and his church exists to propagate that by sharing the gospel. That's why the gospel matters. That's why your preaching of the gospel matters where you work, where you live, in your families, to your platforms. That's why the gospel matters, because that is how salvation occurs. That's how righteousness is transferred. That's how wickedness is brought down and defeated. That's the preferred method. Our God is merciful. He's gracious. He's righteous, and he's constantly favorable to those who believe. And he invites all to voluntarily walk forward by faith in his Son.